In Parsha Shoftim, this past week's Parsha, so it speaks about going to war. It's a Parsha that speaks about going to war. It's interesting that with the situation our nation, our people find ourselves in now, Parshas like this take on like added meaning. I think many people learning Parsha Shoftim, different years, different periods of our lives, different things like drew us and talk to us. Anybody present today and learn Shoftim, and it speaks about if you go to war against your enemies, so we perk up. It happens to be in Parsha Shoftim, it speaks about not baltashchas, not destroying things in war, and even things that help the war efforts. You're looking to make battering rams to Pashut help you in the battle, to help us in the battle. And it says, don't knock down a fruit-bearing tree. I'm like so moved by that a people, war is like we're in the middle of war. Just grab anything and fight with anything. And the Yid's mitzvah, don't touch a tree that's a fruit-bearing tree. You're making a garrison. You want these battering rams to help you in the war effort. Don't cut down a fruit-bearing tree. The care that this shouldn't suffer, let alone collateral damage. Yidden are careful amidst war. Nobody should get hurt who's not needed. The enemy, people trying to kill us, 100%. We should do what we need to do. But the care of a Yid, obviously, it's not lost that the world is like asking Israel, are people dying? It's one of the most complex wars I've heard in my life. There's no people who ever hide behind human shields. It's a basic to any army in the world. There's no such thing, and we're facing an enemy who attacked Yidden, and then they're hiding in schools and in populated areas. It's a tremendously complex time. And yet the attitude, and I heard from an English general who was describing, he said in the history of warfare, his claim, it's one man's claim, I believe it's probably true towards this. He said in the history of war, no nation is more careful than Israel on collateral damage and making sure, he says the number, he describes the number of deaths, that it's the most care. He describes in World War II how it looked, and in most armies, and obviously Israel's being, I assume, and certainly the halach is to be as careful as you can. You don't chop down a tree for the war efforts that's a fruit-bearing tree. It shouldn't suffer because you're trying to get the enemies. So these sugyas of warfare obviously have become more relevant. L'tzarenu, and we certainly hope for safe days and days where every Yid is not engaged in war, but we're more perked up. One of the sugyas of warfare speaks about going to war. And it says you see a sus v'rechev am rab mimecha. You see an army that's very larger than yours. Leisir mehem. The Torah commands, don't be afraid. Ki Hashem lekecha imach. Hashem's with you. The same Hashem who took you out of the land of Egypt is with you. And the Kohen speaks to the people, comforting us. The Kohen approaches Klal Yisrael, the soldiers, says, Shema Yisrael. Listen, Klal Yisrael, atem krev ma'yom l'milchama. You're going close to war, leveichem. Al yera levavchem. Don't be afraid. Al tiruv, al techbezuv, al tartzu mipneim. Ki Hashem lekeichem oilechim machem lilachem lechem avech l'shiachem. You have Hashem. God is with you. Understand, Hashem is with you. Understand. It's interesting. I remember during the last war against Hezbollah, so there was the general in charge of the war was a Frum Yid, and he was giving chizuk to the soldiers, amazingly reminiscent of these type of chizuk, telling them Hashem is with us, ki imanu kel, Hashem is with us, and giving chizuk and encouragement. Somebody who wasn't a God-fearing person like him started making fun of him that he's giving some Frum speeches to the army. Somebody in one of the Israeli magazines started ripping him. That you're saying such Frum speeches to the soldiers, why you're talking like that, was like knocking him to talk like that to the soldiers. And he penned a letter back. He wrote a beautiful letter back. My wife and I read this letter where he basically says there's no atheist in a foxhole. He said, by your attacking me, I could tell you never fought a war in your life. He said and the guy didn't fight in the army, the writer. And he said armies across the world, Goyisha armies, speak about God when they go fight. Every soldier speak about Hashem. They're facing life and death. People aren't atheists, they're ma'aminim. They talk about God under such circumstances. He said, by you knocking me, you clearly have never been to war. He said, soldiers think a lot about Hashem. And here the soldiers are told, Hashem's going with us to fight for us, and He'll save us. And He starts calming us down and speaking words of chizuk and encouragement to the Jewish soldiers. It then says, they say to the army, is there a man amongst us that built a new house and didn't live in it yet? Did anybody construct a sharbana bayis chadash v'loy chanachai who didn't live in it yet? Yelech v'yashav lebeisai, go home. Leave the battlefield. Pen yamus bal mechama, lest you die in battle. V'ishar cher yichanchenu, lest this soldier die in battle and somebody else will take his house. What you worked for, you're nene from. That's a basic visual all of us has to know. We work for something, we gain from it. You work, you gain. You work, you gain. One of the saddest things is somebody does amelus and he doesn't gain. We don't want the scene of a soldier who killed himself to build a house and he never got pleasure from the house. That's a very dirty scene. It's a sheker. Because the reality of existence is a person's amal u'mekabel and sachar. A person works, gets rewarded for their work. The person themselves. One of the reasons for Tchias HaMesim is we do hard work in this world. It's not fair only the neshama. We have a neshama, we have a guf. It's not fair only the neshama should get schar. And certainly we're a neshama, but we have a body. Tchias HaMesim is the ikar zman of schar, that the body and the neshama, which work together to produce, should receive schar. That's a dirty picture. Something works and doesn't get rewarded for it. So it's an ugly scene, and we call back any soldier who worked to build the house. We don't want that picture, he worked and somebody else lived in the house. So if there's a soldier that was bana bayis chadash who built the house and he didn't live it, go home. It shouldn't be he dies in battle and somebody else takes it. Now you could learn pshat in the psukim that the guy is nervous. We don't want any nervous people in war. Later on it does say that. It says, who's the person who's yarei v'rach alevav should go home. If one person is very anxious and nervous, it tends to spread. So if one guy is panicking, it's going to create panic amongst his brothers, so he has to leave the battlefield. Here it doesn't seem it's out the nerves, though some Rishonim speak out that it means the nerves here, that he's worried he's going to die. There is such a pshat in Rishonim, but there's a way of learning the Torah called the Pashtanim. And the simple reading of the words is we don't want that one person toiled to build a house and somebody else gets it. So if somebody either built a house and didn't live in it, he should go back home. Is there a man who planted a vineyard and he didn't get the opportunity to partake in the vineyard? Go home. If there's a person who had erusin to a lady and didn't have nesuin yet, he should go home. So it describes three people who leave the battlefield. Somebody who built a home, didn't live in it yet. Somebody who planted a vineyard and didn't partake from the fruits yet. And somebody who married a lady and didn't have nesuin. All those people leave the battlefield. Comes the Rambam in Hilchas Deis, and he makes a diak from the psukim. When the psukim send people home, it first describes somebody who built a bayis, who built a house and didn't live in it. It describes somebody who planted a kerem, who planted a vineyard, and he didn't have pleasure from the grapes, from the vines yet. And then it describes a guy who got married. Says the Rambam in Hilchas Deis, Perek Aleph, Derech Baalei Deya. It's the derech, it's the style of people of intelligence. Sheyik v'lei adam malacha amifarneses say tchila. Before somebody gets married, they should first have a parnasa. Then they should buy a house. Step one, you should have a parnasa, says the Rambam. Step one, he says, get a parnasa. Step two is build a house. Then get married. And he brings the psukim in the Torah that it first describes building a house and having a parnasa, and then it describes getting married. Avalat tipshim, he calls them fools, the Rambam. Tipshim maschilun lisa isha, they first get married, and then if they can buy a house and if they can get a parnasa, well, they look for an umnis, a yispanis menatstaka. He calls that tipshim fools. Amazing, Rambam. Now there's kashas on the Rambam, bomb kashas, because the Rambam says you get a parnasa first, then you build a house, then you get married. The order of the Torah and the Kesef Mishnah, the Noisei Kelim ask, is the Torah actually first says build a house, then parnasa, then isha. So they ask on the Rambam. It's a good kasha. But the Rambam says that fools get married, then look for parnasa, and he based it on the psukim. Now, I'm not into hack. I'm not here to talk political. I actually want to share something with the Chevra. It came in our days. So anybody reads the Rambam, that's not what we're doing today. My own children, it's interesting. My son was dating. My son was engaged, and he was freaking. I got to work. But he felt it deep in his bones, and I was very proud that he felt it. I'm marrying a girl. I have to support her. It was in his bones. I'm going to work right now. Right now. It was freaking. I was very proud of him. He's becoming married. He understands achrayus to take care. The reality is, b'nei Torah, my own children, people are learning till they're married. And amazingly, the Rambam calls that tipshus, foolishness. I'm not here to talk a political thing. I want to say that Gedolim, Rav Aaron Kotler amongst them, when Rav Aaron established Lakewood, and my own children, I did this. I learned till I was married, and then I thought about Parnasa, what the Rambam calls a tippish. This guy did this. They say you went against the Rambam. There's a Chida who says today we should not follow this Rambam. And I'm not here, I don't care about Hak, and I don't care if somebody follows the Rambam. That's not what I want to speak about. I want to speak about Emunas Chachamim. It's remarkable to me that there were tzaddikim and gedolim, and certainly this is not an area of halacha, it's hilchas deis, and great people felt that today it's too dangerous to send out our youth to work younger. It's too dangerous. I have a relative who went to law school who swears he's not a frumma person, says you can't go to law school single. I'm not coming to Paskin. But you have to be married. He felt like it's too dangerous. And Isha's a chayma, a wife's a protection. And today my own children, what the Rambam calls tipshus, foolishness. The Rambam says you first got to have parnasa, then you marry your wife. You get parnasa, you build a house. A guy came up to me this morning at a bris. It's the topic. I speak here, things on my mind. A guy at a bris this morning. I met a young man. He said, I just bought a house. He said, I have a parnasa and I have a house. I'm looking for a wife. Mamish this morning at a bris. A guy came up to me. The guy was at the same bris. And he said, I worked. I bought a house. I said, I'm so proud. You're Mamish a Rambam. You're beautiful. He said, quickly. Now that you had a kiyum, you just got his house. Hashem Shri Mizaka, you a wife right now to move in. You're Mamish a Rambam Yid. I told him about the Rambam Hilchas Deis. But yet, my own self and my children, I did not send them to college. It's interesting to see the scenes at colleges. I'm not coming to be political. I'm not even coming to weigh in on the Shaila at all. These are bigger people than me. It's not what I'm saying. I actually want to point out Emunas Chachamim, Tzadikim and Gedolim. When Rav Aaron changed the system, it was a Chiddush Nifla. I know for a fact a tremendous Tzaddik and a Gadol who was upset at Rav Aaron, who was very, very upset. That Rav Aaron did a Chiddush. He established Lakewood, that people were learning until they got married, and they weren't going to college. And the Rambam calls this tipshus. Now there's big shilas. Does the Rambam agree you can have a yachid? an individual there were always Asara Batlanim individuals, Yechidei Skula, but Lakewood is not saying for Yechidim, it was for the masses, it's not a truth. It has to be said honestly. Rav Aaron established, and the Rosh Yeshivas of today, established for the masses. And to me, they don't need Askama. I'm not giving Askama. I'm talking about Emunas Chachamim, that there's a real thing called Emunas Chachamim. Real. I'm a Maimin in the Chachamim. On my own, and I can explain them to you. And the Chidah already says that this Rambam doesn't apply. There's Hirurim, there's bad thoughts. To me, the Emunas Chachamim, Tzadikim and Gedolim, if it's an Isser, we don't say, but the Chacham is not a matter of Isser. This is a Svara. And the normal svara, of course, would be to go to college, to get a job, then get married. And I do say it's wild what we do. Somebody's married, and what am I about? Good, so there's eitzes. The wife works, and we like think of all these eitzes. It's a normal freak out. I hope a guy freaks that he has a sense. I'm supposed to support. It should be that way, the sense of support. But there's an emunas chachamim, and there's a very good reason for the system we have. So I'm not here, again, the Etzem Shaila, that big people have weighed in on this, and that they're big people. I do want to say about the Sugi of Emunas Chachamim, Tzadikim and Gedolim, who have thought they're very, very practical tzaddikim. Sometimes we think we're going to cash. Like I promise you, if Aaron knew this Rambam, Mila v'Mila Baal Peh, he knew the Rambam very, very well. And he also and yet tzaddikim and gedolim established a system for a good reason. They were worried about something. Again, I met this fine, beautiful young man who did it a different way, and there are eitzes, but this worry, they were worried about something. I wanna say to the guys here, so the Emunas Chachamim is a big, big sugya. I want to say that the importance of a youngster from young ages. My Rebbe spoke to me about marriage from young ages. I like in yeshiva a 10th grader. It's a basic thing that at young ages a guy is being mechen, is preparing. And here where you have the Torah and the Rambam describing a person has parnasa, a person builds a bias. But I want to say to the Chevra, there are many areas of preparing for marriage. Many. First, a person should daven. From young ages, l'zayis yispalo kol chassid leis mitzay. 9th, 10th, 11th grade, it's not if you missed it already. A person should spend much prayer on a good shidduch, a wife, a wonderful person. This is basic, that a person puts a lot of prayer into this. This is something that a person is praying for and should be a big part of his prayers about his spouse, that Hashem should send him the right one and a good wife, a wonderful person who he's compatible with and she's compatible with him. It's an important part of our prayers. An important part of our activities of creating ourself space and ourself for another person, that we're emotionally capable of taking care of ourselves so we can emotionally invite somebody in. This is something. Always the literalist only hears in the Torah the exact thing it says. Somebody who knows how to learn Torah, Rav Aaron didn't change this mitzias that the Psukim are teaching us. The Rambam speaks that the Psukim teach us that a person is constructing. By the way, the person who follows Rav Aaron's keeping the Rambam. Because the same Rav Aaron's saying that you have to be a gesunter mensch, a healthy person, and a built person. Rav Aaron was Mishayer, that somebody goes to college, somebody goes out there, goes to law school, not married, they're not going to be the right person for their wife, who's emotionally cares for her. The sugya of building the mensch, of building the person, that the person is preparing for marriage. If this is the way, and this the Rambam felt at that time, that the way, not felt, the Rambam taught us and teaches and is a mitzius, that at that time a person should first work, first build a bias, then get. But there's something that's being said here. The person is being mechen for an isha. He's paving the way for a wife. So to me, that a person's actively doing work, getting himself ready emotionally, getting himself ready and preparing for the Isha, that there's space for the Isha, this is thoughts. My Rebbe, a remarkably young age, for us, would talk to us about marriage. At the time, I found it almost bizarre, being honest. Today, I just think he's Torah. Right, Kastenbaum was with our town. We're students of the same Rebbe. In this yeshiva, we talk to 10th graders about marriage. Not anything that's sensitive that shouldn't be spoken about. But we'd speak about marriage and making a space for another person, the acceptance of another person, really making space for another person, but real, a person with their shenanigans, with their humanness. It's really creating a space for another person in your life, like real, there's space for you and all that you bring in. He would talk a lot about all different aspects of marriage. He learned that from my Rebbe. I want to say it's all the kiyum of this Rambam and these psukim. And Rav Aaron didn't change the etzem shayrish hadvarim, but of course not. Rav Aaron actually felt that the best hachana for a wife was not building the bayis yet. And he explained it and had reasons. And the Chida says like these two tzaddikim and the G'daylim who understand had to create a matzav that's a kiyum of that, so they already paved the way. But the etzem idea of that the person's meichen before, Rav Aaron Kotler himself said a nifla dik pshat. It says that Yaakov Avinu worked for Rachel 7 years. And it says that it was yamim achadim. It was very few days because he loved her. Rav Aaron on those psukim says, and it sounds like very chassidish, Rav Aaron had reasons. I don't want to go into what kashas he had to say this pshat. He says it doesn't mean he just physically labored for Rachel. That's not how to learn the Torah. Rav Aaron sounds like a mechsiv, but these are just tzaddikim learning Torah. It doesn't just mean he physically labored. It means, you know what it means to be married to Rachel Imenu? You know how much inner work one has to do to be married to Rachel? It means that he did 7 years of deep avodah inside to be able to be married to somebody else. There was tremendous avodah to be married to somebody else. Real avodah to be married. I was zeicha last night to get on a Zoom call with parents of the yeshiva. In an honest way, and I thought for hours, what do I want to say to parents? It's not just your kid's journey to steig, you're sending your kid to whatever. The other thing is that we have our own steiging, our own development. This is a place of honesty. How can we ask our kids to be honest and present and authentic if we're not making such a space that we're that way, that somebody in our existence could be that way with us? I spoke to my friends about us being the people that can allow our children to be those people. So this psukim, Rav Aaron said the psukim that Yaakov worked for Rachel 7 years, Rav Aaron says means that those 7 years there was tremendous inner avodah to be zeicha. The union of Yaakov and Rachel Imenu is a union that mitasam shlema that caused our Klal Yisrael. The Shivtei Ka came out of that union. And it means that Yaakov Avinu did tremendous avodah to prepare himself for that union. Tremendous avodah to create the person. There's a lot of conversation in the world of singles and older singles, and it's a complicated sugya. It's an Isaiah and Chamra, and our bracha and our tefillas, each person. We have people in yeshiva looking for shidduchim. Each one should find the zivug hagen, but there's an avodah practically that a person's engaged in. It's a very precious avodah of creating themselves. There's an avodah of a person making himself all different inner work that prepares for such a matziv, to have such a home. There's an inner work like that. That is something that at young ages already. Young ages, we can be mispalel and we work on our midas. We do an accounting. It's remarkable to me, the commitment of marriage to emotionally care for somebody is wild. In the Ksuba, it's interesting, the Torah speaks about 3 responsibilities of marriage. She'era, ksusa, v'inasa, lo yigara. She'era and ksusa are physical needs, food and clothing, that I understand. A man promises to physically support his wife. Chayeyim tluyim alav, their lives depend on him, and he promises to support his wife. That's she'era. Ainasa means tashmish, intimacy. A man owes his wife intimacy. He owes it to his wife. He owes it. He owes his wife intimacy. That's Ainasa. On the Ksuba, when we make a kinyan, And a man obligates himself on the chiyuvim of marriage before it speaks about afarnes, al physically, sheira and ksus, it says, Oiker, I'm going to respect her. Now where is that? It says, sheira ksus aynasa lo yigara. Her physical needs and tashmish, intimacy, owes her. And the first thing on the ksuba, it says, Oiker, I'm going to respect my wife. But anybody who understands intimacy, understands sugyas, not from a Western perspective, from a Torah perspective, knows that's one big sugya of two people who respect and appreciate and celebrate each other. Aynasa, in a deep way, for anybody who understands what it is, it means I'm going to emotionally care for somebody. And the ikr thing about emotionally caring for somebody is to respect the person. The main thing you ever do in your lifetime for another person is holding them. That's the biggest thing you ever can do for somebody. I don't care, you support somebody physically for 1,000 years. The bigger thing and the first commitment in the ksuba is oiker. I'm going to respect. It's pashut that it comes from Aynasa. That's a cheluk of Aynasa. Why in the Torah it writes sheira ksus of Aynasa lo yigara? Don't hold back sheira ksus of Aynasa, and Aynasa is at the end. And on the ksuba, it says, Oiker first, is a beautiful kasha. I think it connects to Torah Sheb'chsav and Torah Sheb'al Peh. In Torah Sheb'chsav, it speaks about the way it plays out, the physical that's meant to lead, and the most important thing, the emotional, the physical, that brings to that. In Torah Sheb'al Peh, we speak about that which is most chashuv first. And the ikr of it all is the emotional well-being. You can't have that without the physical. So good, that's a shtickle Torah that each person could say their own pshat. But the chiyuv of a husband is to emotionally care for his wife, and it expresses respect her. A man is obligated. If you know a husband doesn't respect his wife, he's a liar. He's not just breaking his chiyuv. He promised, I'm not oiker, I'm going to respect my wife. I'm going to hold her this person. I'm going to hold her this person. Oiker, I'm going to hold, I'm going to respect, I'm going to celebrate this person. I'm going to hold. That's the chiyuv of marriage. A man is obligated. He promises, he guarantees, he makes a kinyan, edim sign on it, that I'm going to respect her. I'm just going to respect such a person. Respect and look up to and appreciate and value such a person. A man obligates. It's nifla that a guy promises that he's going to respect. How could you keep that? You have to respect yourself. It's pasha. This is just dvarim pshutim. The father, the man who doesn't respect his wife, the man who doesn't respect his kids, when he's pushed to the corner, he always says, I don't respect myself. How do you expect me to respect you? We have to learn and build a person who respects himself, who takes care of himself emotionally, and then he's open to take care of other people. It's interesting. I meet with the dorm counselors before this man. And the first conversations, it's like a big thing. There's about to be 160 guys coming here. It's a lot of achrayus, a lot of responsibility, and it's heavy. It's a lot of responsibility. And the first thing, and these are the guys who are charged, they're in the dorms. The first thing I think about is they have to emotionally care for themselves. I want them I love when the dorm counselors go on trips and they go out together, go somewhere. There are two guys, go out, have fun, have a good Shabbos. You can't emotionally care for anybody if you don't know how to emotionally care for yourselves. It's interesting. Over the years, we send yearly a lot of guys to Eretz Yisrael. I have sent children to Eretz Yisrael, guys from Yeshiva go to Eretz Yisrael. And over the years, I've thought a lot about guys going, and it's very interesting. It's like changed a lot. What I tell guys going to Eretz Yisrael, I've thought about it a lot. I visualized it. I've seen them. And as we're moving through life, do you know what? Maybe the most important thing I tell guys to Eretz Yisrael is learn to take care of yourself. Learn to have a good time, just to take care of yourself. Learn on a Tuesday night, go out to eat with a friend, and it should be not. You take good care. There's goymal nafsha yish chassid. A person knows how to take care of himself. It's not happy. It's a lot of avodah on your hand. The first step is you know how to take care of yourself. That you're happy, you're comfortable, you're well taken care of. One of my best friends in the world is a person who does a lot for the world. He's a tremendous activist. He happens to be somebody who I admire. He takes good care of himself. Make sure. I don't like martyrdom. I don't know how you can take good care of somebody else if you don't take good care of yourself. You're not happy and comfortable and well taken care of. His whole taking care of himself is to help be a tool and a conduit to take care of and be good to other people. So there's an avodah, this Rav Aaron, who we learn Amunas Chacham from, and certainly said a Chiddush Nifla, but he's not changing the Yesod Advarim of the Rambam. The Yesod Advarim, to just be married, there's a lot that goes in. So the Psukim describe to build a bayis, to have parnasa, to build a home first. The Psukim describe a whole thing. I want to say to the Chevra, this is a little bit Hasidish, but I have a hechrich to say this. I want to say something. We started with the kasha. Please listen well. There's a nice shtickle Torah here. Listen well. When I say chsish, it's not cuter. There has to be an oimik here. I actually think Hashem meant this. That's my personal opinion. There's something funny here. The psukim are describing the order. The psukim say, build a home, parnasa, marriage. The Rambam says, build a home, parnasa, marriage. And you can't build a home without parnasa. It costs a lot. So the Rambam switches the order. The Rambam says, parnasa, home, marriage. But the Rambam's based on these psukim. And the Rambam says, I'm based on the psukim. The Rambam says, tipshim, get married, then parnasa, then build a home. It's against the order of the Torah. But the Torah says, build a home, parnasa, marriage. Now the answer, how the Rambam knew that it's clearly not exact. Building a home in parnasa can't be exact, because you can't build a home if you don't have parnasa. Can't tell somebody, buy a house for $500,000, then parnasa, then marriage. That's impossible. You can't buy a $500,000 home if you don't have parnasa. So the Rambam says the Torah knew that that's not exact. That just means, it said build a house, parnasa. It means build a house. How? With parnasa. But marriage, of course, comes last. It puts, what are you saying, Josh?
I said a rich shver. When marriage comes out.
So the Rambam, so clear in the Torah, the Rambam understood that you'd understand when it says a bias and money, it meant the bias is the goal of the money has a point, so it said bias before money, that's the point. And then both of them for Isha. But L'maisa, it says the order is bias then parnasa. And what I want to suggest is that Hashem purposely put bias first. That the ikr thoughts of it all are on the bias that you're constructing, on the home. And when it speaks about the bias, speaks about the person who's building a bias, that's the ikr thoughts. And included in that bias are the midas. You're talking about the construction of a bias, and that's the thought of the person. His Isha together with him, and his thoughts are on the bias, and nichlal in the bias there are all not just the physical bias. If it was just the physical bias, it would be parnasa, then bias. So the bias means what atmosphere is going to be in the home, what attitudes, what type of idealism, what type of warmth is going to be in the home. Is it going to be a beautiful place? That's the construction of us all. That's the construction. We're all busy with the bias, with building the bias, and what's the atmosphere, what's the attitude, what's going to be precious and what's going to be worth something in the home. I want guys in yeshiva to discover things that mean something to them. What's the idealism around? What's valuable? Real. Not in a real way. What's precious to me? What's valuable? What am I going to celebrate? Our kids, I remember years ago, there was a guy in yeshiva 25 years ago, very intelligent. It's 25 years later, he remains one of the smartest people we ever had in yeshiva. I was talking to him playing ball with my kids. Will they know what's chashuv and what's not? And he told me, and he was correct. Our kids know the deepest thoughts of us. They know what's important to us. He was talking to me about this topic. They know the deepest important things to us. A family can preach and chirp all day about learning, but the kids sense when you light up when you think about money. You light up when our kids know what we're feeling and what we're thinking. And the task of us now is to bring in, we all have deep and profound ritzainis inside of us. we have a soul, to get in touch, to find the things that are passionate. When anybody here dates, what you have to see is, did the girl get in touch with things she's excited? What excites her? What gets her up? What gets her fired up? What gives her chiyus? What energizes her? We all have ruchnias that could energize us. To me, the goal of a bacher is to find those things that give you energy, and find it slowly, comfortably. I'm not talking about forcing. I'm not talking about fake it till you make it. None of this stuff. I'm talking about to really slowly, comfortably get in touch with your soul. Find the things that give you chiyus. You'll bring those will create your bias, things that energize, excite. It could be chesed, areas in Torah, areas in prayer, slowly finding things that energize us. We're all going the biggest mission of our life. It's to build a beautiful home. The task of building, before we get married, this applies. If Aaron didn't change this, Tipshim, get married and then figure out how to build a bias. Other people who are chachamim, balei deya, are working hard at their bias, the construction of them. The construction of their home is our values, our ideals, that which is important to us. Even after Rav Aaron, in his goinus, in his intelligence, made certain changes, certain ideas that he instituted, Rav Aaron, Emunas Chachamim, of course, Rav Aaron's accurate, but the etzem concept that a person is building his bias in order to prepare for that beautiful thing called marriage has to be front and center in our minds. I want to say to the guys that I'm coming to this man. I was zeicher to marry you off a child. And I'm coming to this man like Kemat Fred. My wife and I were deep in a simcha. You like lig the simcha. From the afraf to the chasna to the sheva brachas, you like live in it. One of the things that happens when you have an out-of-town simcha, when you do a shidduch in town, so you go to sheva brachas, go back home. We were out of town. We were like living the simcha 24/7. We were just on the road and living the simcha. I was very much absorbing how much it speaks about the chesed. People, friends of ours, drove to Chicago to the chasna. People flew in, people came. You feel a lot of love from people. I absorbed that. I also learned that the simcha of the chasna is a Klal Yisrael simcha. That's what's happening. There's a din kol misameach chasna mikala. There's an inyan to be misameach. Why do you have to make a chasna and kala happy? They're plenty happy. They should make us happy, Yonah. The ikr thing you're giving the chasna and kala, depends when you make them happy. They're thrilled. But to them, it's a private simcha. Fine, I found my shleimus. It's so clear, I experienced this. Everybody's saying it's a Klal Yisrael simcha. My father, any wedding my father's invited to, he goes to. My father counts his seconds. He's a very timed person. Where I came, my father's never late to anything. His time is like precious. And yet my father goes to every chasna he's invited to. It's like bizarre. Ramesha Feinstein went to every chasna. I heard from his grandchildren. Went to every wedding he's invited to. In the family, we sometimes laugh. I tell the guys, like, maybe don't invite my father. Like, if you invite him, he's going to come. He comes to chasnas. Travels distances for somebody who's so makbid on his time. A chasna is a Klal Yisrael simcha. Somebody's building a bayis. It's a place for Ashras Hashchin. It's a Klal Yisrael simcha. It's a massive simcha. A chasna. I experienced this. That's what all your friends and family are telling you. They're being misamech the chasna. The chasna and kala are happy, but they think it's their private simcha. We're telling them it's Klal Yisrael simcha. Your simcha is much bigger than you think. It's Am Yisrael simcha. People go, Gedolim, I was by a chasna since their first Shechter walks in. Tzadikim and Gedolim go to chasna. Everybody goes to chasnas. Everybody, you're invited, we go. We show up. Why? Because Klal Yisrael simcha, another bias. So I wanted to say to all us, everybody here, that the building of our home has to be an important point. It's a simcha different than other simchas, how everybody comes and gets involved and is there in a big way. After my son's afraf, we had a Shabbos, and Klal Yisrael, minhagim of Klal Yisrael are for reasons. After the afraf, I was driving him to Chicago, and he was headed to the wedding. He told me on the way, full of emotion, like, I absorbed the afraf, and I'm like, this is a big deal what I'm about to build, and I feel it, and I want to build a beautiful home. He sensed the value and the importance of a Yiddish home. So I say to us all here, that the age we're at, certainly with davening for the right shidduchim, and all the work on our own emotional health, all the work on our own state is towards something. We want to build a bias. We want to build a bias, and we're thinking about the bias we're building. We're actively involved in the construction of the bias by working on our midas, by working on our emotional health, by working on our state. All the things that a person does to be that healthy person, who's then capable of caring for somebody else, of being oiker, of respecting somebody, of emotionally caring for somebody else, is all part of the achanais. It's a davar gadol. A Yiddish, a home that's a home of shalom, that's a home of love, of beauty, is a davar gadol. So I wanted to give such a charge to the chevra, that from our ages, all our ages, I say to myself, I don't say to you, I say to myself, I have children living at home. I want to still do work to improve my bias. I want to do work to improve my bias. There's people that are interior decorators. I want to do work. I felt I absorbed that from the chasna. I felt the way people care about a bias, the way our nation goes crazy from a chasna. There's a new bias. That's just the reaction of our people said something to me. So I say to all the guys here, build your bias. Build your home. Get to work with midas, with sincerity. To work to be a happier person who gives off more joy. Person who finds things that are valuable. We want to build a precious, precious bias. Hashem should give all of us, siyata d'shmaya, all of us heavenly assistance to do the work necessary, and then to build beautiful, beautiful, happy, gorgeous homes that are a Yiddish shtuv, a Jewish home. That's a place banachas for Hashem. That's my bracha to everybody here. I want to welcome Akiva Barnett back to Yeshiva. It's a big theme this year, Akiva. There are a lot of siblings in Yeshiva. A lot of siblings. I like the Galen family was sitting all three together. Akiva's mishpacha, the Barnetts, Shmuel Barnett, Akiva, David Barnett was here. Aryeh, welcome back. I want to welcome, we have Jashi here. We were Zeicha that Ari is a Rebbe here, is a Mashpia here, is an impactor. And now I hope we're going to get Jashi also. I want to welcome Josh and Ari and the Tata to Yeshiva. Welcome. I like also the Brummer. There are three Brummers here. Oh, he's in Eretz Yisrael, Binyamin. I call Binyamin, so we were just together in Sulam. Now you have two. Good correction. We have Binyamin we had already, and then we have Shaya here. We have Akiva here. The Kappensteins. A lot of siblings. Last night I was going through the list, and I was counting with my wife all the siblings in Yeshiva. I have Baruch Hashem, I'm Zeich, and I have two sons here. Moshe and Hudi. It's a big brother year. Yeah. What'd you say? Yaakov also. Three. Yeah. Emes. Good call. Thank you, Ezra. We're waiting for the twins, Ezra. Interesting. They're halachas. If you're invited to a chasna, you don't. When you're getting married, Be'ez Hashem, you don't openly invite to a wedding. If you're invited to a wedding, la halacha, you have to go. Yona or Yoni, your friends call you. Yona. Next, I got it. Yona. Do you know the Avi Beitler's name's Avram Yona? But if you're invited to a chasna, you basically have to go. Somebody told me, is that true, Ari, that's why we send invitations, not to like verbally invite? I have this thing, and I say to the guys, by the way, on your own chasnas, to a Rebbe, don't mail them an invitation. To you don't mail your grandparents, you hand it. There's a certain derech eretz. I don't care for derech eretz. A certain warmth. Now the reason why do we do invitations all together? Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, You have to be ma'ayin that we don't want to invite because you have to come if you're invited. So in the mail is like, is that true, Harry? Does it say like that? I do. Bikarev, I want to get, everybody should receive a letter of Bikarev, and Bikarev, letter from Rav Ari inviting to the chasna. But we'll look up this sugya. I don't know. Somebody told me that we send a letter. It shouldn't be you're invited because you're invited. You have to go.
You have to go if you're invited. Why do you have
To chasna. That's already a taisus. You're invited to simchas in general by bris milah, but by a chasna because Klal Yisrael simcha. Because all of Klal Yisrael celebrates. Big people, you invite them, they show up. That's a taisus already. But chasna more than others, you invite, they go.
What's the difference between on paper or?
Yes, so Avi said, so it's on paper. Maybe it's on paper is like I'm telling you about it. I'm not invited. Even when people tell, the way B'nai Torah say they're making a bris, Yaakov Richin sent me a text, he made a bris for me, but he said, I wanted to let you know. He didn't say, I want to invite you. Invite? I got to go. He said, I want to inform. So I think like the invitation, but don't they, what do they write on the invitation? They write on invitations to inform you. They don't say you're invited. Is that true?
Yeah, always
What?
They always say join us.
Inform.
Join us. We'd like to inform you.
Could you read? You have one here? Listen to this. There's a wedding invitation. Listen.
This is
Oh, there's the bris. What does it say?
we would like to inform you of the bris.
They never say want to invite you, but on weddings people write that. What are they? On weddings?
Isn't it a thing by bris?
Or they want you to come.
Yeah, by bris the Taisus. Checkmate. That's how my father goes. You say by wedding invitation it says you're. Request.
Maybe now WhatsApp, when people send out to all their friends, either they broadcast it, and then it's like a mass text, and it's like a lot less intimate. But then, like you write the person's name.
That's what they do on the chasna. Okay, I wanna just mention a scheduling thing. We're going to begin second seder on Monday, Be'ez Hashem. Sunday is a trip in the yeshiva. I wanted to jump in slowly to the schedule, but I did want to tell we're going to form chavrusas and chaburas. Avi and I are joining. I know my children. Maishi is joining. I think Yaakov's joining.
This Manny's. Request the honor.
Request the honor of your presence. That's an invite if I ever saw one. Okay, maybe you have to come then. I don't know. On Monday we're going to start second seder. Second seder, I'm going to try to start Musar more timely, 3:30 to 4:30. Stop laughing, and then we're going to 5 o'clock to 6:30. Rabbi Baruch Sullivan is going to be a Sholem Esha. We're learning Shleisha Shachlu. It's a parak about Zimun. In the morning we're learning Tfilas HaShachar, a parak about Tfilah, about making up Tfilah. And we'll learn Tfilas HaShachar first Seder, and second Seder we'll learn Shleisha Shachlu. I asked anybody could join to join. Again, it's going to start Monday 5 to 6:30. If you join 5 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6. But during that time, 5, 6, Rabbi Baruch Sullivan will be here. If you're interested in the chavrusa, you could speak to Rabbi Solomon. He'll help arrange it. And we're looking for guys to get involved in that Seder. Be'ez Hashem will be a good Seder. There'll be chaburas. Rabbi Sullivan will say from time to time, and I will say from time to time, and we'll gather together as a group. The chabura will take place on this side of the Beis Medrash. We'll do on these 3 tables like the morning, and everybody's invited to join. Shleisha is a beautiful parak. You want to find out more about Zimun. We all want to learn more about Zimun, so it's a parak. It happens to be a beautiful limud. Everybody's invited to join Shleisha Shachlu second Seder. It will begin, like I said, on Monday at 5 o'clock in Ernst. Anybody who can join, that will be great. There will be another minyan for Mincha today, Be'ez Hashem, at 6 o'clock, followed by supper. We'll have a Leil Shishi. There'll be night Seder. They're showing some football in the lounge tonight. I heard it's a good game. Then there'll be a Leil Shishi, 11:15. In the Beis Medrash, we'll have a Leil Shishi. Shlomo Guri, we're unleashing for the first time. We'll be back. They're coming back from the trip. 11:15, they're bringing back a lot of food. So a Leil Shishi together with Shlomo Guri, 11:15. We started the Leil Shishis in Yeshiva last year. I feel there's a tremendous drive in our generation towards Shabbos, towards connecting to Shabbos. The Leil Shishis have been stunning. So I'm inviting and encouraging guys to come 11:15 tonight to the Beis Medrash. Have an excellent evening, guys.